How's it going, everybody? Pandora here. This is a follow-up to my T28 video. This is the Tier 9 Turtleless TD, the T95, or Doom Turtle as some people call it. I wanted to briefly talk about the armor profile of this tank because anybody grinding or playing this tank, you need to know your key strengths and weaknesses of this tank. You can see from the front here, you've got a lot of armor that's shown up in red here. Now, if you move down to this area here, any tank that might be shooting you, if they're using Pramo, they will be able to pen you. Obviously, the glaring weakness with most tanks is the lower glacis, and it's no different with this tank. You've only got 133 millimeters. You've got the same amount of armor and these driver hatches as well, 133 millimeters. So when you're playing this tank, you will find a lot of tanks that will be either looking at these hatches here or looking down here if you're revealing it. Moving on to the side profile, the similar woes. You've got very little armor here on the side. You've got 51 millimeters. Also, when you're moving down to the tracks here, you can see that you have got spaced armor. Now that comes in handy when you're angling the gun like so, and you're looking at a tank or maybe wiggling it. You will find that you can bounce shells when you're side scraping. Moving on to the back, because this is a turretless and American tank, you've got very little armor on the back. There are people who are going to try and get behind you and shoot you in the ass, and this is what you're working with. You've got 51 millimeters of armor. That is even less when you move up here, 38 millimeters of armor, and this is the area here where your fuel tanks are. So you will find that this tank catches fire quite a bit, and that's pretty much what you're working with when you're playing this tank. I want to briefly just talk about consumables and provisions because I think they're well worth a mention. Alright, well, these are the consumables that I play with. I use the multi-purpose restoration pack and the repair kit, and I would advise that because you're turtless TD, and if you get tracked, those do come in handy. If your driver gets hit, you can obviously bring him back to life. This is a new consumable. This is the improved engine power boost. Now, you might be thinking this is stupid to put this on this tank, but it does add 50% more engine power and 10% more to your turn rate, which comes in handy with a turtless TD. It also does add 8 kilometers to your top speed, so 16 plus 8 is 24 kilometers an hour. Now, you might not think that that is much, but when you're driving at 16 kilometers an hour across maps trying to get into position, that does come in handy. I'm also going to talk about provisions. So it's pretty much standard with any tank really, but the one call out I will make is this protective kit. Your turtless American TD. I've been playing a couple of games without this, and I did find that your driver will get hit, or a lot of the time you actually catch fire, your engine just goes on fire. This did help reduce that, so yeah, I would recommend that you play with the protective kit. The rest in terms of equipment and ammunition is pretty substandard. I do have 3 games to show you playing the tank, so we're going to go straight into that now. Alright, well, this is our first game. It's Desert Sands. It is an encounter battle. Most of these games are actually encounter battles. I preferred not to play this in Supremacy, this tank. So we spawned on the northeast side, and the one great thing about this tank is it's a great corridor fighter. So I'm going to push in here to the left hand side. There's parts of this video I am going to speed up, but I'm not going to speed up this part. I'm just going to show you what this tank is like, and this is playing with the improved engine power boost. We're getting up to a top speed of 24 kilometers an hour. This is what you're working with. This isn't the slowest the tank can go, so that improved engine boost really does come in handy. So I'm going to push in here to the left hand side. Hopefully we engage some of the reds. And that's the one thing about this tank, you need to keep it in the game, or you need to get it into the game. So immediately we do spot up an IS-3. I do get spotted. There's a WZ, I was focusing the IS a little bit too much. There's a WZ who does get a shot in on me. So it's really just trying to keep some distance, see who shows up. I don't know where that shot goes, but I do manage to bounce his shot. I'm going to push forward to get him back and then pull back, just in case the IS-3 tries to flank me, but he doesn't. The WZ is going to push again, and that's where he makes a mistake. 672. And one of the greens actually takes him out, so that's one tank down. So we're going to push in here and engage this IS-3. We do have support here from the T34, so he's going to actually push him. And this is the one thing about this tank, I want to be careful. I want to make sure that that T34 can retreat, make my way around him. So I'm going to put a shot in on the IS-3. There you go. 568. That's actually a low roll, but for some reason it does take more effort to try and get rid of this guy. So I do bounce his shot. The T34 is doing well. He's holding him in position. Put another shot in. 543. Again, not the biggest of alpha. This has got an average alpha of 640. So those are kind of low rolls. So we're going to push in, try and ram him, finish him off. And you can see those effects of the armor getting penetrated there. I really like that with this last update. So we're going to push in. We do take out the IS-3. I'm going to push in here to spot, or see if we can spot on the tracks. And this is the part where I'm going to speed up, because there's a lot of this where I'm just roaming around the desert here. Trying to move at 16 kilometers an hour is a pain. There is a T92 who is spotting as well. And this is where I started double backing. I actually pull back and rotate back the way I came, because it's obvious there's no tanks there, and I'm not going to go into the desert with this tank. So there are 2 tanks in the desert. There's another tank who's in on the right hand side here, so I'm going to push in and try and help him. So it's 4-3 at this point. The team has done pretty well. And I do get spotted here. I don't know who's, I think it's the IS-5 who spots me, but you can see what they're doing. They're coming in and flanking us now. They brought it back to 3-3. And this is where I'm going to slow it back down. One of our tanks does get taken out, the 704. T92 has done well with spotting, and we're going to just finish this guy off, so we take him out. So it's 2 tanks apiece. The T92 is going to go in on the left hand side here. I'm going to reset my camo and make them think that I'm going to the left. And I'm going to come back in around here and try and put some shots in on this IS-5. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't know I'm coming. I'm just getting there so slow. The T92 has done really well. He's kept him on the map. So put a shot in. That's more like it. Bigger alpha there. 623. And I am spotted now. I'm very, very aware of the Waffen tractor who's not on the map. So the IS-5 tries to put in a shot there, but the gun handling of that tank, it's very, very tough to land that shot. So he misses. The Waffen does come. I do switch to HE and I take 1022 of his hit points. He's a 1 shot now. I do bounce his shot. He does catch my track. The IS-5 is pushing me, and I finish him off. And the Waffen gets taken out by the T92. So handy little game there. 4.6k damage, 1.5k bounced. And that gets us the first class high caliber. We do get 33,000 credits as well. So we do get the top damage on the team. 1219 experience points for first class. And these are some of the final battle stats. You can see how much HP we took off these guys. Alright, and this is the second game, Port Bay. It's another encounter battle. And again, it's another tier 9, tier 8 game. So we spawned in the northwest. The left hand side here is the meta. We've got 2 mediums and a light, so I'm going to try and push in and try and support them. The left hand side has been called by the T28. I'm going to speed this bit up because it's me going very, very slow. I do actually get pushed by a tank here as well. There's a tank who tries to push me to help me. Pro tip, any tank who's pushing you isn't helping. I actually try and leave space for him to pass me out, but he doesn't want any of it. And there's a little bit of a disagreement here. I try and tell him that he's not really helping me. He thinks he's helping me, but he's not. So this game is actually going to be a loss. It might be obvious already. There's 2 tanks who've caught the left hand side, and we haven't really contended. So this is a lovely spot for this tank. They can't shoot my lower glacis. Now I derp that first shot. Do get spotted. And we're going to try and put a shot in. I'm going to prioritize the FV because he's more of a danger to me. He's a light tank, and if he gets behind me, I'm dead. So do get a lovely little shot there. Maybe I should have switched to HE. I didn't really think I'd get it, but I did actually get it. And I do get spotted again. And this is where you can see the game just go downhill for me. There's 2 tanks there. They've got cover. I'm kind of ineffective here. Very, very ineffective. I'm in a good position, but ineffective. And this is where I notice an ISU is actually flanking us. So I need to hold this side here as best I can. I'm going to push back. I think we've got enough reds to contend there, but we've lost 3 at this point. Do put a lovely shot in the ISU. I push down. There's a nice little bit of a ridge here, a bit of a hill where he can shoot my lower glacis. He misses. I bounce somebody else's shot, and it's a matter of pushing in and trying to take this guy out. Finish him off. Lovely. And this is where it's really, really unfortunate. There's a Jagdtiger 8.8 who's also showed up here on the left-hand side. We're losing tanks. That ISU is very salty. And the 8.8 is fairly clever there. We have spotted up the T54 who's given some issues there. We do take him out. Do take a hit here from another tank. The 8.8 is pushing again, and I'm just aware of this guy, but we are getting flanked here on the left-hand side. We're just losing tanks, so many tanks. And this is where it all just falls apart. The 59 Patton is pushing me. I'm getting loads of bounces. I know the 8.8 is, I'm going to be taking hits from him, but there are tanks coming from the left-hand side here. And this is where they just overrun me. I'm visible confusion. I'm just trying to prioritize some tanks here. I do get 2 more bounces, put another shot in the 8.8. And the FE is behind me. It's all over. It's all over. Taking hits. There's an engine fire. A lamb to the slaughter. And I wanted to include that because that's how bad games can go in this tank. You get tanks that are all around you, it's over. Unfortunately, the greens didn't really do much for me there. I thought they would. So we do 3.5k of damage. We get 2 frags. And that's how bad games can go in this tank. If you get surrounded, you're pretty much done. They push very, very hard and pretty well. I'm fairly impressed with the red team there, who just made absolute ribbons of our team. So there's some of the final stats. Alright, and we're on to the third and final game. It's Black Goldville. This is a tier 10, tier 9 game. And we've spawned on the southwest side. So the meta here really is usually the left-hand side. The mediums would tend to go up there. All I'm going to do here is try and push straight ahead. There's a lovely little corridor up here where if I can get the tank in there, I have shots on the left and the right. So I'm not going to speed this up. Strangely, this is a very, very quick game. This is 3.5 minutes. So I don't think I need to speed it up. And you're just going to see how slow this tank is. So I'm not going to use the engine speed here. The plan here is to get up this hill and then use it. So I'll put myself in a position where I can shoot left and right. So I'm just trying to get up this hill, man. This is how slow the tank is when you're on a hill. Like I'm dropping speed there, and I'm getting up to like 10 kilometers an hour. So I've got 2 reds in front of me, and there's an AMX who's pushed a little bit too far on the right hand side. Block his shot, put a lovely little shot there on the turret. You can see the aim time. The gun is just brilliant. When it goes to work, it's brilliant. Because he's a clipper, he's going to stay out in the open to try and get all his shots. Bounce his second shot, bounce his third shot. Switch to HE. I'm trying to put a shot in the side here, and I messed that shot up. Only doing splash damage there for 314. So I'm pushing. This is a lovely little position for this tank. I've got cover. I've been bouncing his shots. And this is where he makes a mistake. He's pushed a little bit too far. And look at the aim time. 638. I think I caught him by surprise there with that shot. And he does take another shot there from somebody else. I'm just going to leave him at this point. He's a half shot for somebody else. So I'm going to turn my attention here towards the tanks here on the right. Or the left, sorry, left. So we're on a nice little hill here. There's a PTA. I switched to HE and I low roll that one. That's a really bad shot. I should have aimed it a little bit more towards the engine deck or used AP. There's an IS-4 who's in there and he's holding off. There's a Foch, and that's why he's pushing so hard down this corridor. We do have tanks on our left-hand side as well. They're all in under the caves. Just keeping an eye on what's open there. The PTA is going to try and make a push here now. I'm going to keep it on the AP. I can take him out with this shot, so we do take him out. IS-4's done really well there. So there's a nice little spot up here. I've got some soft cover here with the bush. Can we get that shot? No, we don't get that shot. Now, that probably would have been a waste with 640 average alpha. I'm going to let somebody else take him out. So I'm going to push up here to this ridge. There's a 4005. He's a dangerous tank, but he's got paper armor. I do switch to HE. And we put a shot in on him there for 965. And this is where I think I catch him by surprise. I use the engine boost, and he's probably thinking, ah, it's a T95, he's slow. But I catch him off guard here, where he's wide out in the open because he is a clipper. He's looking at me, misses his shot, take him out, lovely. So I made light work of him. And I'm using the last of this engine boost to try and get up this ridge. I do notice the Progetto is going to make a push here on the VK72. So we do take a shot there. High roll for 800. And we do take him out. That's brilliant. So up to 5k damage here at this point. And this is how effective this tank can be when you get it into positions. Handy position. So I'm going to switch to APCR here. I'm going to take a shot here. And surprise, I actually get that shot. I didn't really think I'd get it. But the aim time of this tank, of this gun, is brilliant. There's AMX from earlier on. He's just looking at me, but we do manage to take him out. So there we go. That was a really quick game. 5.4k damage, and I think 1200 bounced. And there it is. We do get the Ace Mastery, the high caliber, 41,000 credits, 3 frags, 1445 base EXP. So that's how effective that tank can be when you get it into the positions. And these are the final stats. Alright guys, that is the T95. Hope you enjoyed the video. Just some final afterthoughts on the tank itself. I'm just about to sell this tank now. It's not a tank that I continue to play, and every now and again you come across these accounts that have thousands upon thousands of games played in this tank, and to be honest, I think they're fucking mental. The tank itself, like, it's interesting because the gun is brilliant. It's got a 155mm gun. It's brilliant, man. It's hilarious. It's always good playing a tank with a 155mm gun. And there's certain qualities to the armor that's really, really good when you get to learn how the armor works and how the gun can arc and that kind of thing, how you can manipulate the armor. But it's just the speed and the mobility that kills it. And now there's been a shift in the game where a lot more people are playing light tanks, and there's a shift towards speed. And getting into positions and that kind of thing, and that's where this tank really just struggles. I got into a conversation with Martin Dogger on Twitter, where he did point out, like, the side armor was also nerfed there recently, and it didn't get anything in return. Yes, it's got these new consumables which help, especially in terms of like that speed boost option, but it didn't, like, when you think of other tanks like this tank, the nearest thing I think of is the Tortoise. And the Tortoise, by name, is a slow tank, but its top speed is 20 kilometers an hour. Like, that's what I can't understand with this tank. And I understand that not every tank needs to be the same, because Wargaming also are guilty of doing that sometimes, where they're just making all the tanks same. It's good to have slow tanks in the game as well, but it's just, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't really enjoy it. And I'm kind of lucky because I've got those 25% off certificates to get through the experience needed for the E3 and to purchase the E3. So I did manage to get the E3 at this point. So that's really why I'm going to get rid of this tank. I'm not saying other people won't enjoy it, but I just think with the shift in the meta, all of a sudden, everything is now towards speed and mobility, and this is a tank that I think it's going to get worse as more tanks are being added where they have those qualities in terms of speed. This is going to be a tank that's going to get left behind. So it'll be interesting to see if Wargaming buff it or if they do something with it. I do feel in a way it's a tank that's kind of forgotten about. These games were recorded during the update 7.0. And in 7.1, the Foch is getting a buff. The gun handling on the Foch is getting a buff. I mean, that for me, it's kind of an insult to this tank because I feel like it's forgotten about. And especially when the armor got nerfed, they could undo that nerf. It doesn't hurt to have a tank that has lots of armor but slow mobility, because they kind of balance it in a way. Anyway, that's it. That's the T95. If you're still listening at this point, thank you. And hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.